fat burners, stretchy pants, and stupid acronyms.
Sup, bro? You on a Metcon snatch this AMRAP OHP wad or what?
3 men rise from out of the ashes to face the tsunami of misinformation threatening the very way we live.
My friend Janice told me she lost 50 pounds juicing acai berries and eating only donut sprinkles.
Their last hope was to join forces and face it together against all the odds.
You guys ready?
T-shirt time! Ramp water! Coming this fall to a gym near you. Mind Pump. Rated R for explicit dad jokes and triggering political views.
If you want to pump your body and expand your mind, there's only one place to go. Mind Pump. Mind Pump with your hosts, Sal DiStefano, Adam Schaefer, and Justin Andrews.
In this episode, I wanted you to jump in with like a in this episode.
Well, this has
like
opera, or what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Well, this one have had Justin's new commercial. Is that going to be attached to this one?
Oh, so they've already heard it though.
Oh yeah,
it's already been through.
That's the first time I've actually. I love when he does these.
He's so
dude.
good.
I love.
Justin, you're so good.
Stop it, you guys.
Yes.
You're
Stop.
so good.
Yeah.
So for the first 43 minutes, we do our introductory conversation. We talk about CrossFit. It's the first thing we talk about.
Hey.
Curves. We talk about them. We talk about
Natural
Orange Theory
progression.
Fitness and other gym businesses that explode and then fall. So those are all those are in the category of fitness trends that we see as exploded, and at some point they fall. Then we talk about the benefits of dietary cholesterol. Yes, it seems to be that dietary cholesterol may be a very anabolic nutrient, something that helps you build muscle, strength.
We can eat cholesterol?
You should eat cholesterol if you want to get stronger and build more muscle, according to the studies that I quote. Then we talk about Adam's vitamin D test. As much as he loves the D, his vitamin D levels seem to be low.
Yes, he caught it when he wasn't listening.
That's what happens.
Yeah, it's great.
According to his Everly Well test, his D levels were a little low, so Justin's gonna give him more D.
Yeah.
But I
got your back.
There are more tests that are coming out from Everly Well. They have a vitamin B test coming out and a folic acid test.
I'm a giver.
They also have hormone tests on there, food intolerance tests. If you go to everlywell.com and use the code MINDPUMP, you'll get 15% off any of these tests that you could do at home without a prescription. Then I talk about 4 Sigmatic and their new adaptogenic coffee with ashwagandha and with Siberian ginseng, also known as Eleuthero root. It's a good product. If you go to 4sigmatic.com/mindpump and use the code MINDPUMP, you'll get a discount. By the way, 4 Sigmatic is spelled FOURSIGMATIC. Then we do a little election wrap-up. Midterms just happened. Who won? The Democrats, the Republicans? I'm not sure. The biggest losers? The voters. We all lose.
Hey, every time.
Then Adam brings up a study, one of the rare times he brings up a study, and of course, it's a study that shows how single people are so much happier than married people.
Yeah.
Looking out for my single
So
people
weird.
out there.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's okay. Don't let them pressure you.
Then we talk
Sky
about
is blue.
another study about exercise and healthy offspring, and then we reminisce on the first day that we beat our dads at strength.
Oh, such a sad, sad day.
It was a sad day.
Yeah.
Then we get into the questions. The first
But
question was, what could be the cause of knee pain when you squat, and how do you fix it? If you have knee pain when you squat and you want to be able to do the king of all exercises, we give you some tips on how you can correct that so that you can squat and get them gains. The next question was, if we can change one thing in the environment that would make it easier for people to engage in healthier behaviors, what would they be? Of course, we come up with great answers because we have all the answers.
Yeah.
The next question.
More bears.
Next question was, what do we mean by when we say active muscles? This person's professor says that it's impossible for muscles to sleep. He loves semantics. It proves his intelligence. It also shows that his ego is slightly fragile. We talk about what we really mean when we talk about active and underactive muscles, and what we mean when we say things like sleepy butt syndrome. And the final question, we give away what we think is extremely sexy that the opposite sex will wear. What do our girls wear that just instantly turns us on? And then what do we wear
Got a little steamy in here.
that turns them on? Justin talks about what turns on Adam. That was kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Listen to that part of the episode if you want to hear the awkwardness.
He's easy.
Finally, this month, 50% off Maps Anywhere. By the way, the Maps Anywhere has been redone, reshot. So it's new videos, new exercise demos, new blueprints. To celebrate, we've cut the price in half. Now, Maps Anywhere is our only Maps program that utilizes almost no equipment. All you need are resistance bands, and you can do this workout anywhere. You could do it at home, do it at work, do it on the road. It also comes with what are called AMP sessions. So if you're advanced, you can ramp up the intensity. This program is appropriate for everybody, beginner to advanced, extremely effective, half off. All you got to do
So fresh, so clean.
is go to mapswhite.com and use the code WHITE50, WHITE, the number 50 without space at checkout for 50% off. And if you have any questions about our other Maps programs, because we have a lot more than just Maps Anywhere. We have programs for athletes, programs for bodybuilders, and so on. Just go to mapsfitnessproducts.com.
The worst part is I know some of my friends from high school that just like started a CrossFit gym. Like,
Are you late?
Now,
So late?
they just opened to Curves.
I heard about this new trend.
People have been asking me about that with like Orange Theory and stuff, and I was like,
You're late to the party.
I think you could still be okay if you get OTF because they're they're just fucking going right now.
How many more years do you anticipate on that?
When I was there, I predicted 5. But to be honest with you, when I see, they're just now making it onto like Monday Night Football advertising. So
they got a lot of growth.
yeah, they're still fucking killing it right now. So I'm gonna come out and say
It's still on the upswing.
they're gonna have a Curves run, dude, which was probably a decade, right?
Well, especially if they keep evolving
Curves
the franchise.
exploded in it. It's like a 6 or 7 year period, and then it started to dip.
Yeah.
I think look that up. I'd love to see that. I bet you Curves ran for at least 10, 15 years. Sal,
Like
before.
the growth, and then
just like killing it still. I don't think they
it
started.
was short, bro. Don't you remember? It was like
No,
within
it
a matter of years.
They had them everywhere. Like, it didn't really matter location-wise. There was like 3 of them in the same shopping center. I remember one time, dude. It was like they're fucking everywhere.
I'm a Google right now. Curves growth.
Yeah,
and,
Curves business.
Oh no, I've looked. It's all. Don't let your child fall off the growth curve. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Anyway, I think you maybe you're right, but it was short, right? It was a short, like, fast growth.
Yeah.
Oh, it was. It was
peak,
fast.
and then it started to drop.
It's fast, just like Orange Theory. Orange Theory is.
Well, let's look at CrossFit right now. CrossFit, I think, in the States is starting to decline or flatten out. How has the CrossFit growth curve been? Has it been 10 years?
I know. I wonder, like we said, I think like our own area, I've definitely seen a lot of them already like going away.
Oh, it's flattened out,
Yeah.
and it's starting to go down in terms of locations in the U.S.
It's interesting to watch.
Listen, it says international fitness franchise co-founded by Gary. 1992, October 2006. Curves was said. So in 2000, so they went from 92 to 2006, bro, was their peak. So they did run, bro. They ran for 8 plus 6. So what's that? 14. So there's a 14-year run. Curves was said to have over 10,000 locations worldwide, with 7,848 of those locations in the United States. Now, as of November 30th, 2017, so last year, Curves lists 576 franchise locations.
Wow, they went from 10,000 to 576.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I almost bought one. And you know why I didn't?
That would have been funny. Can you imagine like Sal running one of those?
I almost did too.
Do you know why I didn't?
Yeah.
I didn't because I saw the business model, saw their equipment, and I saw the people who were buying Curves. The people who were buying and opening Curves were not fitness people.
No.
One opened up.
This is what's happening at OTF right now.
I know. Exactly. It's people jumping on the bandwagon.
Starts to get removed.
One opened up, and I remember they were up for sale. I went and looked at it, and I talked to the lady, and she was obviously didn't work out. And I talked to her about her fitness history, and she didn't have any fitness history. And I'm like, well, why did you buy a Curves? She's like, well, I took some classes, and I really liked it. And then I started reading the numbers, and I thought it would be a good investment.
So that's exactly what was happening at OTF.
Yep.
So as I was there, and that's not to knock them. Those are smart business people. I mean, they see the writing on the wall. They see the growth of it. They're very business savvy, and they're like, fucking throw my name in this hat, dude.
Yep.
So that's what's going on.
The smart people bought them took advantage of the growth, sold them for more as people were excited about it, and got the fuck out.
Like my boy Brendan, dude.
Yeah,
Jesus,
yeah.
I got that dude
He
just
killed it.
Yeah.
fucking
Went in
killed.
and mocked it.
OTF is still on the upswing.
So much respect for
Yeah.
my boy, the
Yeah.
way he did that, dude. Like,
And I see more value in Orange Theory than in Curves. Curves was
way more. Yeah, no.
Curves was pneumatic equipment set up in a circle.
Yeah.
And their whole draw was, it's a comfortable, non-threatening place for women who don't have any fitness experience to work out. But I saw very clearly the folly in that business model. Yeah. First off, okay, let's say you do the 30-minute workouts of their pneumatic equipment and you're consistent. You're gonna progress to a gym, so you're automatically losing your most consistent people. So the only way you survive is if you keep attracting beginners constantly in the door. And I'm like, there's no way it's gonna succeed.
Yeah.
Well, they did some
draw.
other smart things similar to like Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers, where they had like the group meetings.
Well,
the
honestly,
accountability weigh-ins.
Why didn't they partner up with Weight Watchers? That would have been like the ultimate combo.
No, they did.
They?
Actually, I think they did.
Yeah, because like them already in a group setting, that's exactly what they do in Weight Watchers.
I think they did. Did partner up.
You
with
looked
them.
into buying one too, Adam?
I did.
Do you remember the cost of the equipment and all that?
Oh, dude,
it was like $20,000.
Yeah, it wasn't much at all.
No.
It was. So I looked into that.
It was like 15 pieces or something like that.
I think I talked about this on the podcast. We're at the Anytime Fitness, so I looked into that model also.
Yeah, that one I think is still. I mean, that one. How well is that doing right now? Because it was it's pretty decent franchise.
No, they're killing it actually, man. I actually think back and I go, fuck, I should have done that thing because back when it was like 2000 and.
That's the one where you kind of have like a punch card that you just come in and go as you please.
Their pitch was like, I think it's 3 or 4 employees can run the whole facility.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
now the margins aren't great. You don't make a shit ton of money with them, but the draw is you don't have to be there and work.
Right.
Because people don't realize this when you own a gym. If you want to make money, you're there
you
a
live
lot.
There. Yeah. You might as well live upstairs.
Yeah, you're there a lot. I don't know very many successful gyms where the owner isn't, where there isn't an operator there that's fucking making that shit happen all the time.
That was the mistake of all the knuckleheads that jumped on the opening up your own CrossFit box thinking that it wasn't going to be fucking hella work to make good money.
Yeah.
And then they find out that you
can't just teach the classes, man.
I think on average, they say it's like what, 30 to 50 grand is like the average CrossFit box. Yeah. And then like
profit.
And the ones that are killing it are making like 80.
Yeah.
So and the
dude, for that much work,
the outliers are like 150.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
To own a gym and to operate a gym and make $50,000 a year, with all that work, oh boy.
No, you could be a personal trainer
and do better than that.
Yeah, you could be a personal trainer, make 80 to 100 for a company. You could work for somebody. You could go work for 24-Hour Fitness or Lifetime or one of those.
Way less risk.
Way less.
If people
responsibility.
If people understood how to invest their money, it would be so much. People would make a lot better decisions, I think, because the amount of money it costs to open a CrossFit. Let's say it costs you $100,000, which is probably more than that.
Yeah.
But let's say it costs you $100,000, and then you're expecting to make, let's say, 50 to 70 grand in profit a year after, because it takes you about a year to build up if you're doing a good job. You could take $100,000 and turn $100,000 into more money than that in a much shorter period of time with no work, just by understanding how to invest it in the market or property or whatever. A lot easier. So,
yeah, true.
Dude, so yesterday I was writing another article. It's not up yet, but it will be up soon. And Doug suggested that I write on cholesterol. And I know I've talked about this in the past on our podcast, but just because I was writing about it, I was just doing more reading and research on it. Cholesterol has a massive impact on muscle growth and strength and performance. When you look at some of these studies, I'm going to go through some of them, and a lot of them are recent. There was a 2007 study showing that the more cholesterol, this is with elderly individuals, the more cholesterol they consumed, the more muscle and strength that they gained. So there was a dose-dependent result. So they had like 3 categories: low cholesterol, moderate cholesterol, high cholesterol, and dietary intake. And the more they ate, the stronger they got.
Wow.
2011 had young, healthy individuals, one group consuming high cholesterol and the other one consuming low cholesterol. The high cholesterol group had 3 times the muscle protein synthesis rate of the low cholesterol group 22 hours post-training. So after you work out,
in a healthy group too, huh?
Yeah, young and healthy, right?
Wow.
So after you work out, the muscle building signal can be measured by something called muscle protein synthesis or myofibrillar protein synthesis, and this is a way to measure Are your muscles building? And right after you work out, it spikes. And we talk about this all the time. Well, the people who ate a lot of cholesterol, this signal was almost 3 times higher about a day after training. So that's fucking awesome.
Wow.
Then another one, which is recent, this one's in 2017, showed that consuming whole eggs resulted in much higher rates, almost double the rate of muscle protein synthesis than just eating the egg whites. So a lot of times, what we notice post-workout is if you eat protein post-workout, you do get a little boost in protein synthesis. But everybody's talking about eating lean protein, like just whey protein or just egg whites or... Nah, man, throw the whole egg in there. Throw that cholesterol in there because cholesterol is literally being used as part of the adaptation process. It helps with inflammation. It helps with repair recovery. It's the building blocks to all your anabolic hormones.
Testosterone, right?
Yes, and cholesterol post-workout is probably a good idea because another thing, too, is when you work out, you get an immediate drop in blood cholesterol, which seems to signify that your body's sucking up the cholesterol out of its blood to utilize for recovery and repair.
I wonder if the study's showing that it was 3 times more in the healthy groups that actually had high versus the people that are low. I wonder if that is because most people tend to run a lower cholesterol diet because of the shit that we've been told for so long.
Indoctrinated, yeah.
And so then you go and you boost it. You notice a significant difference because they are so used to probably running a lower.
We need more long-term studies. And now here's the thing. There are other long-term studies that show that like elderly people with higher cholesterol who are otherwise healthy, it's correlated with more strength and more muscle mass and better brain, better cognition, and less instances of things like depression. So there's that kind of correlation as well. Now that's not as clear as the other studies. But I would like to see something like that, Adam, where we boost the dietary cholesterol of a group, but then we do it long term.
Yeah.
Does it lose its effect? Because maybe the liver, I know how the way the liver operates, what it makes your cholesterol is it'll make less when you consume more. It kind of balances it out.
So what I've noticed before is that if, for example, I'm not really tracking, I'm not paying attention, I'm not getting a lot of meals, and then all of a sudden, I'm back to my tracking. I'm back to eating well and balanced. And I'm going to ramp up my cholesterol intake either through eggs or red meat. And so that's the way I boost it. I always feel like this great surge afterwards. But then what ends up happening after a while, it seems to kind of level out for me.
That's a great point. I noticed the same thing, and it's not that I lose the gains. I lose the momentum.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if it's just a higher baseline. Because what I noticed, because I've gone over 2,000 milligrams of cholesterol a day. I don't recommend going crazy like I do, but I'll eat chicken livers, which is super high in cholesterol and egg yolks, and I'll go up as high as 1,800 to 2,000. And I mean, for 3-4 weeks, I get just crazy strength. It's like it's like the difference between not taking creatine and taking creatine. It's almost maybe even more of a difference. I noticed that big of an effect. When I bump my cholesterol. I've tested it on clients too, and they always notice the same thing.
Yeah, I remember when we were going through that challenge and to add in more like chicken livers and egg yolks, it made a substantial difference in the performance and strength. And I was also wondering about that, like was I creating more inflammation after my workouts, and then the recovery process after that was something that was that ramping up like my inflammation afterwards?
It's a good question. Cholesterol is it's used to when it comes to the cell membranes, it improves their viscosity, which may also make them more resilient to damage. So it may also allow you to work out harder. I don't know if it speeds up the recovery process necessarily, but what it shows is that it does increase the adaptation signal, so it does boost that as well. When I bump my cholesterol, I don't notice necessarily a difference in my soreness and my recovery. I just notice I get strong, and it's almost like a central nervous system type of strength. It's hard to explain. It's like I'm in the gym and I just feel like I can generate more force in my lifts. And it's something that, look, Vince Garanda back in the day, he would tell people to eat 32 whole eggs a day as a way to get an anabolic boost. I'm not recommending that. That's what he used to say. But back in those days, bodybuilders would go on these bulking diets.
They drink a lot of cream too.
It was full fat cream. It was lots of liver. Liver was a bodybuilding staple back in the day. And liver is very, very high in nutrients, but it's also very high in cholesterol. And this is what they would eat: a lot of liver, they'd eat a lot of full fat cream, beef, lots of egg yolks. This was how they bulked. They didn't bulk with carbs. They didn't bulk with. Then they ate a lot of food, but that's what they would throw in their diet. Is they throw all that stuff in, and they would notice. Oh, there he is. There's Vince right there.
All through competing, that was my staple breakfast almost every single morning. I used to go down to my breakfast spot. I don't know if you guys remember that or not, where I'd go down and I'd have a 10-ounce steak and 4 whole eggs, and then I'd eat another meal before, and then I'd go lift, and it's the best I've ever felt.
Look at the picture of him right there. Vince Corona never took anabolic steroids.
Yeah, he's a beast.
And he was shredded. He was one of the first shredded bodybuilders, because at this point, bodybuilders would get kind of lean, but nobody would have like a full-on six-pack and striations. And he was a weird guy. You know, there was some stuff that I didn't agree with. Like, he didn't like back squats too much because he said it thickened the waist and a couple other things. But his training methodologies, what he said about nutrition, I have a book that was written by him, and you read this fucking book, and it was written in like 1960 or something like that, and I read some of the shit, and I'm like, holy cow, he's saying some of the stuff that we know now to be true that he was speculating on back then. So it's kind of interesting. But I see you taking that vitamin D, Adam.
Well, I'm trying to get better at it again.
You know what Everlywell has a vitamin.
No, I took their test. That's why.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were a little.
Yeah, no, I took their test.
Were you were in the low normal range?
Yeah, and what surprised me about that was I was already supplementing vitamin D, so that kind of made me a little weary. And so originally I was doing 5,000 IUs a day, and sometimes I'll bump to 10. And I just base that off of like how much sun I'm getting. And it's winter time right now, so I think these are like even more important times. So I'm taking 10,000 IUs. That's what I just took right now. But I took that Everlywell test, I don't know, it was a couple months ago. And it came back in the lower range. And I was really surprised because I was already supplementing, which was like, oh, fuck, man. If I'm supplementing it right now and I'm still in the lower range, I must be really bad. So yeah, no, that's why I keep it in the studio now, so I can just take them right away. You know, they have
vitamin. By the way your body uses cholesterol to synthesize vitamin D when you're in the sun. Mm-hmm. So it may be beneficial to increase your cholesterol intake while you are in the sun. But I will say this: I don't think it's because the vitamin D you're taking wasn't working. I think it's because you were fucking low before.
I would guess that too,
because it takes a while to get it up.
Yeah, I would guess that. So that I've got to be consistent, right? I haven't been consistent. Where keeping it in the studio like this, it just helps because it's right in front of my face, and then I just.
We also did the omega-3 test. I forgot where you guys were at on that. Remember we did the omega-3 test?
Yeah, omega-3. I was good. I was good on 3s.
You were good?
Yeah.
And you were low, Justin?
I was low, yeah.
Yeah, you want to be, with vitamin D, you want to be the upper range, and then omega-3s, you want to be in the upper range.
What do you think about the two new ones they have coming? They have two new. They have a folic acid, and then they have vitamin B.
Right?
I think that's excellent. Yeah. Vitamin B deficiencies and folic acid deficiencies are one of the main causes of nervous system disorders in people, where people will get lots of anxiety and have issues with their nervous system. Many times they'll go to a functional medicine doctor, they'll get their B's and folic acid tested, and they're low somewhere or too high. Sometimes people will take shit tons of vitamin B thinking that they need more, and too much of it can cause problems. Although they're water soluble, you have to take.
What have you noticed something within clients, like what's their type of diets that they follow? That
for sure, if you're a vegan or vegetarian, you need to test your B's for sure, and your folic acid for sure, because you get a lot of those from
folic acid. Isn't the one that you're supplementing when somebody's pregnant?
Yes, it is.
It is. Okay, I thought so. That was like the most important. I always there was emphasized quite a bit.
Here's the thing with testing. When I get a new client and they're asking me questions about their diet and how they should supplement or whatever, I can guess based on your symptoms and based on your diet, but there's nothing will replace taking some tests, like take a vitamin D test, take some hormone tests, take an omega-3 test, test your B's and your folic acid. I said hormones already, and take those tests, get the results, and then you can supplement accordingly. And let me tell you something. If you're low in something and you supplement for that thing and you get it up, you will feel phenomenal. It'll be like life and death. It'll be the difference between like good life and excellent life.
Well, this is where supplementing is so beneficial, and this is what we try and stress. Like find out where those deficiencies lie, and that's where supplementing makes sense.
Well, this is where it's superior to any performance supplements that are out there. Even things that we talk about, like creatine, that are incredible. Like if you're not balanced everywhere else,
get your body in harmony first.
Right. I think that's a better place to be first. But this is also why we liked Everlywell so much, as far as, what a great resource to test all these things, so then you can then find out versus, me telling you.
Well, it's a problem because, first off, you have to go to your doctor. You have to get, referral to the
blood labs and everything.
Many times doctors, this is by the way, the feedback I get from people, that they'll go to their doctor and they'll say, hey, I would like a blood panel for my vitamins. And the doctors give them pushback.
Really?
And they'll say, well, what are your symptoms? I don't think you need it, this, that, and the other. And it's a pain in the ass. So people have a lot of difficulty getting these. I know, because I'll work with clients and I'll tell them, can you get these tests? And they'll come back and be like, well, my doctor doesn't think so, and the insurance doesn't cover, blah, blah, blah.
Uh-huh.
With something like Everlywell, which I think it's just a market answer, it's a market response, comes to your home, it's inexpensive. The tests are not super expensive at all. Test it yourself. You don't need a doctor or anything. You could read they'll tell you if you're up, in the better range or lower range. They will even call you if you're low, or you can ask them questions if you're low to see what you can do.
Yeah.
So like my testosterone levels, my last one that I took, were really high. And they actually contacted me and said, hey, if you have any questions about your high testosterone levels and whatever. I said, well, is it a problem? They're like, no, you're not so high that it's an issue. But anytime someone's out of range, we call them and discuss certain things. And I think that's fucking awesome. And you don't need a prescription or a doctor for it. So it's good.
It's empowering.
It's really, really good shit. Speaking of, supplementing or whatever, Four Sigmatic, they've changed their adaptogen coffee. So they've added ashwagandha and eleuthero. You guys know what eleuthero root is?
No.
Siberian ginseng.
Oh, yeah, I've heard Siberian.
One of my favorite. So ginseng is one of the hallmark, cornerstone, most popular adaptogenic herbs in Chinese medicine. Okay, but there's different types of ginseng. Chinese ginseng is the red panax ginseng, which is a very good adaptogen, but is also stimulatory. And in Chinese medicine, they'll say that it's yang. It's going to strengthen yang. Now, for someone like me,
you want that in your coffee.
Well, here's the thing. Someone like me, I don't feel good on red panax ginseng or Chinese ginseng. It makes me feel too stimulated. I don't feel good. And when I've gone to Chinese medicine practitioners, they tell me that I need something that's a little more yin that'll balance me out. Siberian ginseng, which really isn't an actual ginseng, that's just what they call it. Siberian ginseng is more balancing. It's more like ashwagandha, which for those of us who work out hard and are go all the time, I think is more appropriate. So you take that, kind of balances you out, makes you feel good. They know their shit, man. The amounts that they're putting in this thing are 200 milligrams of ashwagandha, 200 milligrams of eleuthero.
That's a lot, right?
It's a decent amount,
right? And
they're putting Tulsi in there, which is another adaptogenic. Like the dudes at Four Sigmatic, they know their shit. Every time they make a formulation, I'm always impressed with the doses and the.
Oh, you've been in love with them since day one. I mean,
yeah.
That was one of the first real sponsors that we ever went after.
Yeah, they do it. They do a damn good job.
I wish I liked the taste better.
Yeah. You know what? I kind of like that. I like that they're not trying to make it taste like candy all the time. You know what I mean?
No,
there's a little bit of that.
I got nothing but respect because of that. If you're searching for something like that, what ends up happening a lot of times when people make it taste so great is they make it taste so great,
they compromise everything else.
Exactly, and then you get very little.
Or let's say that there's a miracle and they can make it taste really good without compromising it. They've still spent a lot of money on that. Where I'd rather have the money being spent on research and development for better ingredients or more active ingredients and that kind of stuff. So
I can agree with that.
So, dude, yesterday, big day, huh? Yeah, you fucking guys don't even
voting
know. Yeah,
wise.
It was a Super Bowl for.
I know.
Well,
I
not
knew
quite
you were
the Super Bowl.
excited about
so
this.
did what happened? Did I see?
So the Senate was all went to the Republican side.
Holy shit, that's a big deal.
Well, no. Well, so hold on. So let's.
All right, I'll let you talk.
Yeah, let's talk about what happens here. Historically, typically, pretty much this is what always happens, and it's happened for the last, I don't know how many presidents, as far back as I can remember, which would be
it's normally the opposite of whatever president's in, right?
Yeah, a president will win. So like Bill Clinton wins, Democrats control the president, and then they control the Congress. Then the midterm elections happened, and Congress went Republican.
Right.
Happened with Bill Clinton, happened with Bush, happened with Obama. Obama had a massive swing. He won. Democrats controlled everything. Midterms came around. The Tea Party, caused a lot of waves. There was this huge Republican swing in Congress. And I like this because it keeps everything I like it when it does that because it keeps everything balanced.
Right.
It
teeters back.
It gridlocks things a little bit. And let me tell you something. A government that fucking can just move and do whatever they want, not always a good thing.
Right.
Sometimes it's good to slow shit down, right? It balances things out. So it was fully expected that with this election, because this is what always happens, especially with a president like Trump, that Congress would swing to the Democrats.
Yep.
Well, instead what happened was the House of Representatives went to the Democrats, but the Senate did not. The Senate remained Republican. So the Democrats, I think they still failed what their goal was. However, I'm still happy, and here's why. The House, they basically are the ones that approve big spending. Here's why I'm not happy. They approve big spending bills. The Democrats, even though the Republicans like to spend money too, the Democrats love bigger government. So that makes me kind of not too happy. But I do like the fact that it's going to cause a little bit more gridlock. It's going to slow things down a little bit. If Trump wants to pass more tariffs or whatever, that hopefully the House can kind of slow him down a little bit. But it's also sent a message, I hope, to the Democrats.
How many non-party representatives were there? I saw a few.
Most of them are running as Democrats or
One or
Republicans.
the other.
The two people in Congress that I like the most, Justin Amash and Massey, who are both very liberty-minded with their views. They both won, so I'm happy about that. But here's in terms of what's I think moving ahead. We're going to see things slow down a little bit. But the message the Democrats get from this, I hope what they get, is that they need to stop with their brand of identity politics. I think they're going to get that message because they should have won both. They should have swung and won both, but they didn't. And I think that's a reflection of people saying, hey, we're sick and tired of the whole everybody's racist, everybody's sexist, everybody's homophobic, and white men are to blame for everything and blah, blah, blah. And like enough of that. You're not going to win too much if you let's focus on the issues. The issues that Democrats typically do well on are education and healthcare, and they do well on the anti-war message typically. I think if they focus on that, they'll do better. But I hope they get that message that the identity politics are done.
What do you think, dude?
Everybody's tired of it.
Is he running 4 more?
Trump?
Yeah.
I don't see anybody touching him. The economy's killing it by some measures. At least the measures people like to look at, like unemployment and GDP. I mean, we had 4% GDP, which was it's funny. Everybody said that was impossible, and we had it. He's deregulated the fuck out of a lot of markets, which has caused a lot of that. His tariffs are stupid, but whatever. He's playing this game with China. If he wins that game with China, by the way, if China concedes and drops their tariffs and we drop ours, it'll be one of the biggest wins that I can recall for a president. Like a big ass gamble. He's making a big gamble, right? He's passing all these tariffs, which are taxes, costing us more money.
Isn't the risk with that? It could be like a really long.
That's probably
game,
probably
right?
what'll happen,
which they tend to be in favor of.
What people need to realize too is that if China suffers, we suffer.
Yeah.
The world is an economy now. Let me put it this way. Do you know what would happen to our economy if China's economy plummeted 50% or something crazy happened to
We'd
them?
lose half our shit.
It would be destructive towards us. In 2008, the financial crisis really kicked off in the U.S. The whole world was affected. They're a big economy. Trust me. It's not like a small, country goes down. Like when Greece, whatever, that affected people, but not huge.
All the factories are.
Yeah, China's it's the second largest. Yeah, we don't. But anyway, it would be one of the biggest wins ever. I don't see anybody on the left coming after him. The only person I could possibly see having maybe a threat, because if Hillary ran again, that would be the dumbest thing of all time. She'll get mopped. Bernie Sanders.
Do you really think
will
she
get
would
killed?
Do that?
Maybe.
Wow.
Yeah. She has such
a bad move.
She has so much money behind her, and there's such a big machine behind her, and she has control of the
they got to
find
find
DNC.
somebody better than that.
Yeah. Bernie Sanders, no way. He would look like a bumbling fool against Trump. Who I think might have a chance would be Joe Biden. Joe Biden.
Yeah, I'd heard about him possibly running.
Joe Biden is brash. He can match Trump when it comes to the saying.
And then they can finally have that boxing match.
Yeah, they
They're
can
talk so much shit.
like he'll talk shit the same way Trump kind of does.
Yeah.
You know, the inappropriate way of talking shit.
Yeah.
So he kind of will match him on that a little bit.
Yeah.
So because everybody else I feel like will be intimidated or will look weak next to Trump. You know, that I can think of from the left. But if the economy still keeps doing well, good luck. I don't think anybody's gonna, I mean, he fucking shook hands with North Korean, dude. Brought him over.
Isn't that kind of our MO as to how we've always voted? Is like at the end of the day, whether we like him or not like him as a president, if at the end of the day, if our economy is on the way, it's just like Clinton. I mean, Clinton got away with getting a blowjob in the White House and still
yeah,
right. I mean, I think that if
the Republicans did not like Bill, at all. He had a Congress,
but he did good, right, as far as financially, right?
Well, he did really good financially.
Yeah. So
we had the .com boom, and then Congress fought him tooth and nail. He's the guy that when at the State of the Union address is the one that said the era of big government is over, coming from a Democrat, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
And he cut lots of regulations and stuff because of Congress, and so we did have a pretty damn good economy under him, but we'll see what happens. I think he's the champ, right? It's like how do you beat the champ in boxing? You have to knock him out.
Yeah.
When it goes to the judges, usually the judges go in his favor. So here's some good news. The gas tax got repealed in California.
Yes.
So that's a good one.
That is awesome.
Yeah, because our gas is
stupid.
What are we spending, like $4 a gallon?
I don't even look. I don't.
Is it at 4? I know. I don't either.
It's that painful to fill the Denali up, bro. I don't even look.
It's so insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we got Gavin Newsom as our governor, so there you go.
Right.
We'll probably be. I'm sure he's probably gonna.
When you
raise something.
You just bought your new car and stuff like that. Did you look the electric route at all? Did you shop around at all on that?
Did you go with an electric car?
Yeah.
No, because plugging it in and doing all that. No, and plus the extra cost doesn't offset the savings in gas. So
Hey,
no, I didn't.
I had an article that I wanted to share with you guys that would make you laugh a little bit. I figured Justin's fucked in this case, but 10 surprising reasons why single people are happier and healthier, according to research. This is backed by science.
Oh, really? I'd love to hear this.
Yeah, listen. Single people are more social. Okay, so I think we can see how that it helps and affects your
What's
health.
the percentage of empty inside?
You have to be more social. You don't have any meaning.
Absolutely,
in life.
right?
Continue.
Right. So, single people have more time to themselves. This is important, especially today, right?
Duh.
Right.
We need a study for that.
Yeah. Single people have more time for leisure. This is true.
It's another duh. Water is wet.
Single people report experiencing more personal growth. Oh. Number 5, single people have.
So?
I'll challenge that.
Yeah, I'll
Single,
challenge that one too.
single people have fewer legal liabilities. Number 6, single people tend to have less credit card debt.
Sure.
I feel like I'd be getting more trouble.
Okay. 7, single women tend to earn higher salaries.
Of course.
Okay.
That makes sense.
8,
Well, yeah.
single men tend to work fewer hours than married men.
You know what's funny about? Hold on, stop right there. How funny is that?
These are so obvious.
Married women will make less because they work less. Married men work more and make more. When men are single, we do more of the staying at home and relaxing type of deal.
Yeah.
And it goes right into the psyche of what happens to a man when he has kids.
Urgency.
Yeah, right away. I got to work more. Got to
Oh
work
my God.
more.
Right.
Yeah.
Number 9, single people tend to exercise more.
Sure.
And then the last one, single people tend to sleep better. So you were.
There's a lot of duh there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, fucking then
The
duh.
air-
Then duh.
The
it's
sky's blue.
It's it's healthier and happier to be single.
When I've read other.
There's some duh for you.
I've read some studies that say for sure if you were to measure happiness in terms of like yay fun, yes for sure if you're single. Meaning,
I think
kids.
I think they do this research. They just straight up ask people, "How happy are you?"
Right,
And
right.
fucking 1 to 10. A lot of married people would be like, "Fucking 2."
Yeah, well,
Fucking
but you ask them about meaning and purpose. Kids, come
That's
on,
just
man.
that's just because you love your kids.
I think-
Not
Well,
everybody.
yeah, if I had kids and I hated them, I'm sure.
I think a lot of people make
Terrible.
bad decisions and then they lock themselves with somebody that they made a bad decision with, and
I just had to come with that because people. I've been getting the full court press on marrying Katrina lately and stuff. I'm just like, man, why does everybody try? Why are you guys gonna fuck up a good thing? We've been together for 8 years. We love each other more than almost anybody else I fucking know as a couple.
No,
Don't fuck my shit
No,
up.
you do your thing, man.
Who was it?
Don't worry about anybody else. You do your thing. You guys enjoy what you're doing or whatever. My personal opinion, I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't. I think you would make an incredible father. That's it. That's all. So if you have kids, it'd be a blessing to the world. If you don't, it's okay. We still have Adam.
Was it Goldie Hawn and Kirk? What's that guy's name?
Kurt
Douglas
Russell.
or
Kurt
Russell?
Yeah, like their relationship, right?
Yeah.
They made that work forever.
Right. No, totally.
I wouldn't look at celebrities though.
Yeah,
I know. It's just
the worst
it's like an example of like.
I mean, I use our own relationship as an example. I'm like, it's so funny how we are that way as like a society. Like people think that we need to do something to prove something. Like if it's, I'm like, I don't got anything to prove to anybody.
I just go like this. I don't give a shit. Dude. Like these generalities and like people's ideas and opinions, I could give two shits about.
A lot of people don't, especially today. A lot of people don't realize this, but this is true, 100%. The crux of society, of successful societies, has been always the family.
Yeah.
And so inherently, we want people to hitch up and have children. Probably because we identified a long time ago that when that happens, and a lot of people do that.
That's how we evolve and survive.
That's how, because if everybody's single, and first of all, nobody's having kids, or if they are having kids, no one's taking care of them. And who's going to rile in the men?
There you go.
And who's, you know what I'm saying? Like, married.
Well, you could bring up all those studies of like having both together, planted and rooted in that family, and then how much benefit like the kids have as a result of that.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Exactly. I could make this. I can make this point that you're probably more likely, if you're single, to be more selfish, which is okay. But if everybody was like that, it might not be so good, right?
Right.
Yeah. Right. And I tend to think here's what happened to me when I had kids. I thought way more about the future than I did before I had kids. I barely ever thought about that shit. Now that I have kids, I'm like, oh, what about?
I know.
What about
like,
the environment?
Like the world all of a sudden matters.
Yeah, like exactly.
Yeah, like
your
I
legacy.
give a shit about politics. Like I voted, and all that, and I wouldn't even have given a shit like before that. So.
And I know I'm fucking selfish, so that's probably fucking hella selfish. I mean, I don't want to. Right now, if I want an $800 pair of sneakers, I fucking will do it on a Tuesday just because. You know what I'm saying? Where if I got fucking a kid, I got to put milk in his mouth. That's gonna be totally different.
Hey man,
I feel like
his own.
I feel an asshole doing the double click. I can't do it. I can't do it right now.
That's what happens to me all the time. I'll be at the store and I'll be like, God, I want that. But my kids need clothes.
But
Yeah. Damn it.
Yeah.
Right, what are we going to do? Here's a study for you. When fathers exercise, their future offspring may benefit. They're doing some animal studies and they find that mice that work out spawn healthier offspring.
Wait. So you have mice that work out?
Yeah.
Like how are they getting them to work out?
They put them on a wheel.
Bench press.
So they get their one modality.
They put them on a wheel. They have healthier offspring than their lethargic counterparts. I bet you this is true for adults, for humans as well. That if you exercise, you're probably going to do a little epigenetics going on there with your sperm. To where your kid's going to come out probably healthier. Makes sense, right?
Yeah. No, I think so.
Does it make sense?
It's kind of funny. I had a moment I was wrestling with my youngest, and he stopped me. He's like, "You're really strong, Dad." He's like, "Are you stronger than Papa, like my dad?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, I am stronger than him." And he's just like, When did you get stronger than him? And I was like, oh my God, this is already happening. He's thinking in his thoughts, like, when am I going to be stronger than Dad? And I was like, yeah, I got stronger. I was like, he's bigger, but that forced me to work out more and exercise and get, stronger, so he wouldn't just keep like out wrestling me. And then like this wheel started clicking. I could just see it, in his head. And I was like, but you know what? I'm going to keep working out. So you got a lot of work to do, dude.
He's like,
I'm going to squash you,
He's like looking
until
at
I'm 90 at least.
You can see in his head, he's like, I'm going to kick your ass one day.
Yeah, he is. Like, he had the eye, eye of the tiger. Like,
do you remember?
Was this your youngest?
It's my youngest.
That's such a cute. Your kids are adorable. What do you remember the day that you realized you were stronger than your dad?
Yeah, it was physically like his go-to move. He's 6'7". You guys have met him, and he would just use his weight to basically squash me. Right, so we'd wrestle, and then he would pin me down. And it was when I was 16. Yeah, it was when I was 16, and I was like working out, like 6 a.m. workouts consistently and I just started football. And I was pinned down where he always got me to where he would just like lay basically all his weight on top, and I just he'd smother me. And I just like summoned all of my inner strength and force, and all at once just like used my whole body to roll him over. And then I got on top of him, and then the look in his eyes were like, he had the biggest like like eyes looking at me like, oh my God, that just happened. And then after that, he never wrestled me again.
You know what? That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
Once the young lion beats the old lion, it's like it's almost like it's over. How did you feel
nature.
about it?
I don't know. I felt like it
did you
felt
feel
gross
conflicted?
a little. Yeah, I was like, oh shit. At first I was like, yeah, I threw my arms up and I was like marching around the house, like bragging and shit and high-fiving my brother.
Then you felt bad.
Yeah, and then I was like, ooh, I just took him out.
I remember the first time that happened to me. So my dad's like, he just has this insane, stupid strength. I mean, he came in here the other day, took one of our big, heavy dumbbells and upside down, bottoms up, pressed it. This is a guy with arthritis up and down his fucking spine.
Oh, that's awesome.
He can't work, and he ends up afterwards, of course, he hurts. He's just got this crazy strength. This is the same guy. The first time I cleaned and pressed 135 in the backyard, I was so proud. I'm like, Dad, Papa, come here. Look what I can do. And 135, and I'm like push pressing it and barely doing it. And he fucking cleans it with one arm.
Oh my God.
Same guy, right? So I was
belittles you.
I was like 18 or 19, and we were grappling, and we were doing jiu-jitsu on the ground, and I caught him in a footlock, and he didn't tap, and I popped his ankle, and then I let go real quick.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I was like, oh shit, I just got. But because he's my hero, I was sad.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, oh man,
I think that is, I was sad.
I could beat my dad now.
It's one of those things.
I was like, oh man, I don't know if I like that.
It's like a passing of the torch, you know?
It is. It's a weird, it's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
But I tell my kids all the time they'll never beat me. So just,
I'm like, I'll be 100 and still working.
Yeah, I was like, listen, you'll never in your life.
I wonder what the age difference is for that transition to happen for a father who never really lifts weights like you're both your dads, right? Never really trained versus two dads like yourself who continue
I know,
to
it's
train.
a grand experiment.
Right.
I'm going to find out.
Well, for sure, if your sons train their asses off,
they'll surpass me.
By the time they're 18 or 19, they're going to be hitting some fucking strength. And at that point, let's see, how old is your youngest?
Yeah, so he's 5.
So he's 5.
Like
so when he's
6.
When he's 20, that's 13 years from now or whatever.
Yeah.
How old are you going to be in 13 years? 53?
Yeah.
I
don't
know, bro. It'll be a decent match.
Look at Paul Check, dude.
Hey, man.
Paul Check doesn't make any sense.
No.
You know what? However strong Paul Check is, which is insanely strong and doesn't make any sense, could you imagine how strong that fucker was when he was 30?
Yeah.
I mean, when he tells the stories about...
That's true.
Sometimes I wonder, though, to me, he's an example, and this is like, you talk about old man strength, we talk about the CNS and all that stuff like that. I would like to ask him that. He may be pretty close to the strength he's kind of always been at
Like
because
maintained,
yeah, because he's just consistently
I've talked to him about it. He says he can't do what he used to, for sure.
Yeah, I know there's some things. I mean,
used to
he's
do-
fucking 57 years old. He's almost 60 years old.
Ridiculous.
He did a one-arm press of a 250-pound strongman. So he held the guy up with one arm at one of his classes. It's a famous story, and sometimes people don't believe him.
that.
But I believe the guy because last year at 57 years old,
He had a picture of it.
he's doing walk. He does have a picture of it.
Yeah, walking lunges with 275 is stupid.
At 57.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That doesn't make any
that's
sense.
crazy strong.
Yeah. One-arm pull-ups.
Yeah.
How many people do you know in your life that could do one-arm pull-ups? He's the only person I know personally.
So-
maybe Mike Salemi. I think
So that's
Mike
my
Salemi's the
point.
other
If we continue training consistently, there's not a lot of examples of people like Paul Check who, 20 years ago or 30 years ago even started training and have still consistently trained like that. It's just now become really popular. Like, how many people do you guys know that are almost 60 like Paul is and has been lifting for 40 years? Like, there's just there's not a lot of
natural guys. There's a lot of guys, but a lot of them are geared up. Though.
And even them, like even the guys that most of the bodybuilder type guys that were bodybuilders, 30 years ago aren't lifting like they used to. They don't even consistently lift. They got bellies and they fucking talk about the good old days. There's very few people that live a healthy lifestyle and have been living one for 40 years. There might be some people doing 20 years, 30 years, and I'm sure we have people listening to this podcast that are.
I had
just go to a reunion.
I had a client, Jim, who I trained for a long time, who's 72 right now, and he's about as strong as he was when I first started. When his strength really climbed up when I trained him, and I trained him for about 10 years. So 62 to 72, he's about the same strength. That's pretty fucking good. But this guy, every day since he was 30,
swam, right? You said
since he was 30 years old, every single day he swims 2.5 miles, straight every single night. And I used to work out my abs with this guy, and we would work out abs together, and he would murder me. His endurance it didn't make, it used to make me so angry. He would just go forever. And I'd be like, I'd make it harder for him. Like, Jim, concentrate, squeeze here, perfect your form. Because I'm like, this motherfucker will be here for an hour and a half. Yeah. But insane amount of stamina and endurance. And he's been doing it forever. I mean, you can maintain insane. I had another guy who was 83.
I see you, right? And you're getting older. And I see you deadlifting still fucking 500 plus pounds. I can't imagine you losing that much poundage off of that. Like, I don't see you going from you being able to pull 550 pretty consistently to all of a sudden you pulling 350. Like, no. And think about how old the kid is going to have to be before he even starts pulling numbers like that. Sure. Yeah. So I would say till 25 probably you guys would be dominating your sons until as long as you maintain your, because then at 25 he's like, here's coming peak time. And if he's stayed consistent since he was young, and he's trained all the way till 25. Well,
he's already far surpassed me with math skills. I'll tell you that much. Oh, man. I cannot help him with his math homework at all. And I didn't like math, and he's a wizard at it. So I always tell him, like, I hope you know how to use Google, because you're fucked if you have any questions. You can't ask me with your math. So.
Eagle has landed. Today's Quah is brought to you by MAPS Anabolic. If you're looking to maximize your overall muscle and strength, MAPS Anabolic is the perfect place to start. With a full 30-day money-back guarantee, there is absolutely zero risk. So what are you waiting for? Go to mindpumpmedia.com and get started today.
It's the motherfucking Quah.
The eagle has landed.
Quah.
First question is from Xenia Rador. What could be the cause of knee pain when squatting, and how do you fix it?
So common. So common. We did one of the first videos I did that went viral on our YouTube channel was how to fix knee pain, and it's a video of me. I think I'm sitting down in the 90-90 position, and I have a med ball, and I also did a post on my Instagram of a picture of it. So if you go back on my Instagram a little ways, this video is really good. I go into troubleshooting this. That it could be caused by obviously a lot of different things, but probably the most common things that we see with knee pain,
hips or ankles.
Right. It's exactly. You go, as medial or more distal to the body and look for the potential. And hip is probably most common. I see someone's got really tight IT or just tight hips in general, and or ankle issues that are going on that's causing it. But in that video, we discuss all of this.
All the joints in the human body, when you look at a human as a primate and you compare it to other primates, one of the joints that stands out the most, because all of our joints are different from other primates, right? We walk on two legs. But one of the biggest differences is the size of our knee joint is massive in comparison to other primates, because we evolved walking and jogging long distances. Our knees can actually take a lot of repetitive motion. Your knees can handle a lot of pressure and strength and repetitive squatting and all that stuff. The problem is if you have imbalances in how you move, if you're moving in a way that is suboptimal, it's no different than driving a car when your suspension is all off or your shocks are off, and you'll notice over time that your tires have this weird wear on them.
Yeah.
If you're not moving in an optimal way, then your knees will start to hurt and it becomes a chronic problem. Now, by the way, I'm completely disregarding acute injuries. Like if you injured your knee and you tore something, you got to wait until you heal before you could do anything. But if you have this kind of chronic knee pain, it's not because you have bad knees. You have bad knees because there's a problem.
There's a dysfunction in the patterns, that your recruitment patterns.
That's it. And a lot of people will, she said squatting, right? Squatting's the issue. Squatting, when done properly, is one of the best things you could do for your knees. Yeah. Okay? It's literally one of the best exercises you could do for your lower body. And I'm not just talking about the muscle of your lower body. I'm talking about the joints of the lower body. The problem is people have terrible recruitment patterns. So then they go squat, and more weight and pressure is put on the knees than needs to be.
Right.
You're getting all this patellar stress. Because your hips aren't stable, now the lateral ligaments of your knee are stabilizing when more than they should, because maybe your knees want to cave or they want to go out or they wobble. Mm-hmm. And so those ligaments now, which aren't supposed to bend, are flexing it or holding you steady. And now you start to notice pain in those areas. IT band gets tight as a result of maybe weak abductor muscles, and
then it doesn't track properly, and you get stressed. That hits right in that point in the joint. And I really like your example of looking at the tires in terms of like wear and tear. Like if you take it down to the feet, and you're going to look at your toes, or you're going to look at calluses, and you're going to look at like the amount of pressure, whether it's internal or on the outside of your feet. That's really a good indication of where you're emphasizing in terms of like grounding yourself into the earth, and where you're putting a lot of pressure, and the force is kind of being delivered through your feet and your ankles.
That was one of the craziest things that I saw change in my own feet after hanging out and spending time with Brink.
Yeah.
Because I put so much focus on my ankle mobility and my feet being active, and I was pronating really bad. And on the insides of both, and I see this is really common, what Justin's talking about, where your big toe, if you've got this callus, this really big callus on the outside of the big toes, it's because the feet are pronating, so they're rolling in. And it could be so subtle that you don't feel it or even see it, but that's a great example. You look down and you see it. Those calluses have completely gone away from me. I had them my whole life, pretty much, and now I don't have that at all.
Oh, wow.
And so to see that from the work that I put in of working on that for so long now, and to not have that anymore, because even when I first started, obviously it doesn't go away right away, because this is one of those things where when you find an imbalance like this, that means you've got this imbalance from years and years and years of poor patterning, right? So it's not going to be, one or two times of stretching or working on something before you start to see the results that you want, or think that the knee pain is forever going to go away. You're going to default to the dominant pattern that you've been doing for years. So it's going to have to be active work, which is the mistake that I think I get when I teach this stuff to clients is, you show them, you foam roll their IT out, you do some 90-90 work in their hips, you do some ankle mobility and, short foot, you start doing all this cool stuff, and you give them this like temporary relief, and they're like, oh, wow, man.
They're like, I'm done.
Yeah. Right. And then they're like, oh my God, I feel so much better, I'm done. And then they stop doing it because they don't have the pain. Then they go back to just moving normal again, which their normal, their default pattern is going to get them right back in that place.
Pain is one of the last signals you'll get from dysfunction. So once you're hurting, you can pretty much realize that you've had dysfunction for a long time. I used to love it. One of my favorite things is when clients came to me and hired me and said they had knee pain and it wasn't acute. I used to love it because I was like, great, I'm going to blow your mind.
Right.
I'm going to blow your mind, and then you're going to see the value in what I'm doing. And I, through 20 years of training people, besides the structural acute issues where people actually had surgeries and stuff that were, things that you can't control, I had 100% success. 100% of the time, someone would come to me, chronic knee pain, I can't squat, I can't lunge, my knees always hurt, and 100% of the time I'd fix it. I had one, client who was a surgeon, general surgeon, brilliant woman. And when I first, did my goal assessment with her, she told me, she goes, I said, are there any limitations, anything I need to know about? And she said, I can't squat and I can't lunge. My knees are terrible. And I said, well, who told you, has this been told by a doctor? Yes, my friend is an orthopedic surgeon. He looked at my knees because they always hurt. We did MRIs, and I cannot lunge and I can't squat. 6 months later, she was squatting and lunging, and she became one of my biggest referral people of all time. This woman sent me 70% of the doctors and surgeons that I had trained afterwards, because I blew her mind, because she thought for sure she couldn't squat or lunge. And I would tell her, I explained to her, I said, look, it's not that we made your knees better. I didn't do anything really to your knees. I just made your body move in a way to where your knees weren't handling as much as they were before. So look,
here's just distributing your force.
Yeah, if I put a lot of pressure on my elbow all day long, every day, all day long, because my other joints aren't working well, pretty soon my elbow's going to fucking hurt.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not going to stop hurting until I teach my body how to move in a way to where things are more appropriate. There's an appropriate amount of stress on my elbow. And that's what happens with the knees.
Yeah. I think generally, if people just focus, and this blew my mind, just kind of like Adam mentioned too, is just like focusing on your feet, your toes, like strengthening your actual feet. And this is why, you saw sort of a movement with the minimus shoes and the toe shoes and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, there's levels and steps to get to that point. But just treating your feet with these drills and really focusing on strengthening your feet and supporting your feet and being able to get up on the pads of your forefoot and like treating it just like any other muscle group, I think would do you, would be massive in terms of eliminating any pain in the rest of your kinetic chain.
I wish I had the knowledge that I have now regarding the foot. When I was a trainer, I think I would have been so much better.
Yeah, me too.
Of a trainer.
Yeah, because same here. Because I just was really good at correcting hip dysfunction.
That's how I was. And so,
which is important too. But
it is. But you're right. Now when I take the shoes off of somebody and tell them to squat, like, man, I can tell by just the way they squat. Like, if they don't even tell me they have pain, I'm like, oh, I bet you this bothers you, this bothers you, this bothers. And they're like, oh my God, how do you figure that out? And it's like you can see it all from your feet. It
just makes so much sense. I mean, it's the first contact to
right.
the ground, right? That's where all the force is going. Mm-hmm. So what are we? We're just blanketing that with a bunch of padding and all these things to kind of manipulate and move your feet around like you're wearing these like flippers.
It is, and it's funny too because it's like people will debate this, and then I'll tell them wear some squat shoes and go squat, and they'll be, oh my God, I squatted 15 more
no
pounds.
No pain.
Yeah, It's like all you did is put a little heel underneath your foot and have a really really rigid, stable as fuck shoe. And now you could squat more. What do you think would happen if you strengthen your feet to be able to do that on their own, right? Same thing.
Yeah, on that note, I always get questions about like certifications and things that people, and I never remember to tell people this, and so I'll say it on the podcast now, is I would highly recommend like the barefoot specialist certification and doing that. I wish I would have obtained that knowledge earlier on in my training career. I think that it sounds silly, but it's so applicable to the clients that you'll get. So that's a great certification. I know we talk a lot about FRC. I know we talk a lot about CES. I know we talk a lot about Paul Check's HLC1, which I think is great, and those all are really good. But I rarely ever mention the barefoot specialist one, and I think that is got to be up there with like the top 5 certifications that will probably benefit you as a trainer.
Next question is from Moore Jojo. If you could change one thing in the environment that would make it easier for people to engage in healthier behaviors, what would it be?
Oh, I have an easy one. Absolutely. I have a very, very easy one. You know, the development of the U.S., a huge part of our success was the invention of the automobile and our ability to have the freedom and autonomy to travel where we wanted. But it also brought about the invention of the suburbs where these communities popped up. And remember, the U.S. was this wide, expansive place. It wasn't super developed like Europe was. So we built all these suburbs in the 50s and 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, especially out here in the West, where you live here and there's a bunch of houses, and then you work over here and you connect them with highways. And so people would drive to work. And that was in many ways it was a good thing economically, and it helped foster the big families and the baby boom and all that stuff. But one of the unintended consequences of that was that people stopped walking as much as they did before. Like if you go to Europe and you go to an old town or old city, stores, shops, homes, businesses are all mixed. So you get at it like San Francisco. You live in San Francisco. You live somewhere, you typically will walk to the store, walk to your gym, walk to work. It's like that in Europe too. And when you go visit Europe, for anybody who's ever visited some of these countries in Europe, you're blown away by how much people walk. It doesn't make sense to drive.
That's all I did in Scotland, Ireland. It was just walking everywhere, and it was great, man.
So I think one of the best things we could do that is simple is when they're designing towns and cities to make them, because here's the deal. Like I live in San Jose. I can't walk anywhere. Everything's too far. Yeah. The grocery store is even a little far for me to walk to because of the way the town is designed. It's designed for houses to be here and businesses to be way the fuck over here. I think if they redesign the towns, make it so that it's easier to walk than it is to drive, where it's conducive for people to get on their feet and not drive somewhere and go and walk to the places that they want to go to. I think that would make a huge impact on just because it's in your life. It'll be your lifestyle, right? It'll make sense for people to walk
It's
more.
interesting because I was watching on Netflix. They had like this sort of mini series where they're bringing up like some innovations, like in terms of like Bird and the whole motorized scooter kind of thing that just they dropped them off and then was like this grand experiment, just like Uber, where they're like, let's see how this all plays out and what kind of economy we can build from this. And you get like the pushback and everything, but for the most part, most people are like, all the unintended consequences of that was people found like businesses and they found places they never even knew existed because it just localized everybody and like they would go places they normally wouldn't go because they're on the scooter. And I thought that was fascinating and it makes a lot of sense.
I think we should have like this built-in thing to our fingerprint. So when we go to purchase food, you have to put your thumbprint on it, and then it body scans you and tells you where your body fat percentage is.
God,
and it doesn't allow
that's
you
some
to,
Big Brother shit right there, dude. I don't know if I want that.
and then it doesn't allow you to open the ice cream jar because you're at fucking 35% body fat.
Step away, fatty.
That just doesn't even open. Like in order to access or go through the drive-through, you have to fucking thumb scan first.
What are my food rations for today?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Shit.
Like,
no food for today.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'm on a diet.
I mean, I think that I don't think I would ever want something crazy like that. But I think if we actually thought like that as humans, I think we would be in a much better place. I think if we just thought, and I try and do this all the time, like allowing myself, because I'm a firm believer in balance and should you be able to have ice cream every once in a while or have cake when you do this or do things like that? Okay, but where we lack the discipline is the acknowledging where you're currently at with the way you're taking care of your body. And so if we had some sort of immediate feedback to let you know, and I just threw out something totally stupid and random like that, but the point is that, hey, if it was a day I trained, I'm in a deficit right now, then I have access to whatever. I have this variety of foods. Now, if I haven't trained, I haven't moved, I haven't done all this stuff like that, then there's these types of foods I should only be eating. And so if we could train ourselves to think like this, I think we'd be in a far better place.
We have to changing infrastructure to promote people walking and moving more, and changing culture around exercise and nutrition. Because right now, the culture surrounding exercise and nutrition is fucked. What does the culture say with exercise and nutrition? Eat right and exercise so that you could look sexy. Eat right and exercise so you could look hot and have a six-pack.
Right. Eat less, walk more, and that's it.
The culture around fitness there is no culture around it. All the culture is around aesthetics and how you look. And I get that and I understand that, but that's driven the market so much that the fitness industry has continued to sell fitness as a way to lose weight, or diet as your diet as a way to look good. No. If the culture understand that this was about well-being, and that's what everybody expected and understood. Like imagine if most people went to the gym and didn't expect to lose weight. Oh, why are you here? I just want to feel better and be healthy. Imagine if people had that expectation.
Right.
How many less people would be disappointed? How many more people would treat exercise as a lifestyle rather than a let me lose this 10 pounds and get the fuck out type of attitude? How many people would look at food differently? There has to be a cultural shift.
How cool would it be if you were walking around with like glasses, right? And they had like the Google glasses, which never took off, and you could just at all times it's reading your body and letting you know like, oh, you're low on vitamin B. Oh, you're low on vitamin. And then in the right side of your glasses is like pictures of all the foods that provide this for you, right? I mean, we're gonna be there, dude. I'm telling you right now, we're gonna get to a place where we can have this real time feedback on how our body, and if we do that, we can help people connect to a different relationship with food instead of us always looking at it's good food, it's bad food. This helps me look sexy. This doesn't help me look sexy. Instead of looking at it like that, looking at it as, okay, what are optimal foods for my body and what my individual body needs based off of whatever it is that I may be lacking or what I haven't gotten into my diet. And if there was this constant feedback of what you're low on as far as nutrients, and then you knew how to connect what you're low on with the types of foods, I think more people would be apt to make better decisions that, I know I really am craving that whatever. I'm not going to do it because I need X, Y, Z, and I'm deprived of that. I think more people would be
I get that.
Make a better decision.
I think and I think like technology, what we've seen here in the Silicon Valley is as these companies have grown and the demand for what they do is greatly increased. Like there's a super competitiveness about driving people to work more on the weekends and like keep them on campus to keep working and providing whatever they need there to kind of get the job done. I think just immediately if there was more scheduled recreational activity, involved with like not just a lunch break, but it's like we can have scheduled opportunity to lift weights. Specifically, I think that would do a massive.
I think that's going to happen. It's going to take time. I think the reason why that will eventually happen is because companies will start to realize that it's
the productivity.
It saves them money, and the employees are more productive.
Yeah. So logistically, that just needs to be pushed more because I still see. And it's more popular to be plugged in and, play these video games, do this, like have things more conveniently there, like food wise, to then just hustle it down real quick so I could get back to programming.
Well, look, like I said, if we can start changing the culture a little bit, we will see more people do it. Look, if you go to Japan after dinner, it's customary that you go for a walk. This is part of their culture. If you, in fact, Japanese companies for a long time, and many of them still do this, at the beginning of the workday, everybody shows up at the same time. They go out in the yard and they all do group exercises. This is like a big thing that they do over there. It's part of the culture. It's just accepted.
Even starting the day with the Tai Chi and all that.
That's it.
Amazing.
In China, they do that. In Europe, walking after meals or walking in the evening is very customary. It's part of the culture. Our culture just doesn't have these things
It's not embedded in it.
And that's the difference. Our culture, when it comes to health and fitness, is all about aesthetics and how we look. And fucking no wonder it's failing.
Yep.
That's a failing, approach.
Formula. Yeah.
It's a failing formula. I'll tell you what. When I got my clients to start to exercise because they liked the health benefits, the way it made them feel, and that's why they ate, they were clients forever and they'd worked out forever. When I got people who were stuck on the lose weight and fucking look hot, it was a matter of time before they'd fall off the wagon. It's just the way it works.
Yep.
So we got to change that message and embed it in the culture.
Next question is from Connor Desmond. What do you mean by active muscles? My resistance training professor says that it is impossible for muscles to sleep.
Oh,
I picked this question because it pisses me off every time I fucking.
They're just being literal. Right?
I hate academia for this reason. This is what happens when you go get your PhD and then you fucking want to be so smart all the time instead of like getting the point across to people. I get this a lot too when we talk about. We talk about this, we call sleepy butt syndrome. These are things that we've made up so people can understand what's going on to help them better understand instead of talking in fucking technical terms that are 10 levels above their reading level or they give two shits about the physiology behind it. So, no, we know that you don't have
unless
muscle.
You're paralyzed.
Yeah, you'd be paralyzed. I get that. It's not asleep, but asleep is a term that we use to let people know that it's underactive because the proper term would be that it's overactive or underactive. And if it's underactive, we call it sleepy. It's you're not firing as many neurons to that area to activate those muscles as it should be, so it's working optimally.
It's just a way to communicate, and this is what academia did. We got interviewed yesterday by a PhD student who's he writes blogs and articles for other graduates and other publications. And he said, how can the academia do better when it comes to health and fitness? And I told him, I said, learn how to fucking communicate and stop being so goddamn boring. Because this is the problem. If I communicate and I say to you, muscle recruitment patterns are off, we need to get more activation, but I'm going to lose everybody. If I say to somebody, your butt's asleep, we need to wake it up. Okay, that makes sense. Obviously, it's not asleep. What we mean is it's just not doing as much as it should, or you have a recruitment pattern that's not ideal. So I'm going to use some arbitrary numbers, but let's say you do a squat, and let's say your glutes are supposed to contribute 55% of the strength and power to that squat, but your glutes are only contributing 45%. That means that your quads and your hamstrings are doing more than they should, or more than ideal. I would say your glutes are asleep, and we need to wake them up. They're obviously not asleep. They're still connected. You have your nerves are connected to it, and it's not paralyzed. But what I'm trying to communicate is your butt needs to do more of the movement than it is for you to move optimally. That's all we mean.
Yeah.
So you can go back to your training professor and be like, yes, fucking Einstein, it's not literal.
You got me.
Yeah, it's just a poor recruitment pattern. And when they say sleepy or asleep, what they literally
it's just
mean
like
is,
you can't isolate one muscle. Right. Like, there's a lot of contributing factors and stabilizing and, isometrically, there's a lot of factors involved with that whole process. But it's like to simplify it and deliver it in a way where, your client is able to understand the concept and actually produce what you want them to produce is everything.
Yeah. And the bottom line is this. I don't care how smart you are when it comes to fitness and health. I don't care how smart you are if you can't communicate it.
Right.
You've changed nobody's mind. You've helped no one. You've inspired no one. You've brought no value to anybody. All you are is a bunch of information, and the only people that you'll bring value to are other people who are in your field who also love that kind of information.
Right. You're proving how smart you are.
You're in an echo chamber.
Right.
You have done nothing whatsoever. One of the best things that ever happened to astrophysics was Carl Sagan.
Yeah.
Carl Sagan wasn't the most brilliant astrophysicist of all time, but he brought astrophysics to the masses.
Made it relatable and fun.
He brought up an entire generation of kids who were interested in science. And you know how many current scientists and astrophysicists, if you ask them what inspired you to do this, I watched Into the Universe with Carl Sagan or whatever. Like Milton Friedman is another one. Milton Friedman, brilliant economist, but he was great at communicating it and brought up a whole generation of people who started to understand economics through him. So you need to be able to figure out how to communicate what you're trying to communicate. Otherwise, all that information is a complete waste. And this is where the experience of training people for 20 years, that's what it's given me. I have knowledge, but I know how to communicate it because, believe me, I communicated wrong many, many times with clients.
There's been a lot of troubleshooting.
Yeah, and it's like, what am I doing wrong? I keep telling my clients the same thing over and over again. They're not doing it. Why aren't they doing it? And then I finally realized, like, oh, I need to communicate. I need to sell them on it.
Well,
that's a big part of my job.
This reminds me of the YouTube channel. I mean, the hate or the shit that we get on there is always from somebody who is trying to sound smarter.
Technically, it's the tuberosity. Of
the idea of the YouTube channel is to help fucking people out, is to change their lives or to give them a tip or give them a tool to improve themselves. And if I can help 100 people with that and I don't come off the way you, or I don't use the technical terms like you would like me to, or you think is conflicting with the way you've been taught, and you come on there and then you talk shit, it's so stupid to me. It's like, what are you contributing? Like, and if you think you can articulate that better and get more people to do it, then by all means do it and show me. I would love someone to teach me how to communicate a topic that I'm talking about that you don't agree with the way I'm delivering. Well, show me a better way.
Bought into
it. Show me a better way to get that across, because the way I communicate certain things, it's because for years and years and years of lots and lots of people that I've tried to get them to understand, I've had to simplify that, because when people hire trainers or they look up exercises on YouTube, they don't want to. They could go to the nearest library or go online and search, anatomy or physiology if they want to know all the medical terms.
Ain't going to do them any good.
No, it's not. They want to just help me.
Yeah, it's interesting that you brought because I just looked at and remember when we speculated about how people were going to use that specifically to search for things to learn, like how to this, how to that's pretty much it's. I think it's at like 43% of people that are actually on YouTube. That's their sole intention, is to learn something new. And so it's so important to be able to communicate something from an elementary level and then
it's so funny. There's this channel on YouTube, and I'm so angry that I can't remember the name of it, but my kids watch it all the time, and it's a science channel, and they'll talk about like historical figures like George Washington, Genghis Khan, all these random individuals, but they'll do it it's super entertaining, and they communicate it to kids. And my daughter, the other night, we're sitting down at the dinner table, and she's telling me all this fucking random facts. You know who invented peanut butter? Do you know why? Do you know that this? And do you know Genghis Khan? And 1% of people from this area are probably related to my 8-year-old daughter. And I'm like, where are you learning this? And I watch these videos, and you know why she's learning it? Because they're communicating it effectively. Yeah. That's so important.
It's fun.
Next question is from Immortal Strength. What is something that the opposite sex wears that's an instant turn on? Also, what do you wear that immediately turns on your significant other?
Oh, I got a good one.
Oh,
I got something.
Snap.
I got something right now. I bet if I say it right now, all you guys are going to be like, oh. When a girl wears long socks
you
with like shorts or like a bikini bottom.
What is that?
My girl has these long long like wool socks that go right above the knees.
Yeah.
And that's just, Jesus Lord. That's too much. You know what I mean? When you see that?
No,
it's too much.
No, we talked about this the other day. That's definitely a weakness for sure. I love the tall socks with booty shorts. This is the time for it too. This is like this fall weather where it's a little cool. It's not. It's like it's too
just warm enough down there.
Because when it's hot, you don't want. I know the girls don't want to wear no tall ass socks when it's hot, but when it's cool outside like it is right now, them tall knee socks with the little booty shorts. Yeah, it's like your great fall. I also have this. I love when my girl wears, the fitted, tight type of yoga pants, Lululemon or Viore type of pants, and wears them with a badass pair of clean sneakers. I'm a sneakerhead, so sneakers that go with her whole ensemble, I think, is like a huge turn on for me. So if she's got her cute tight fitted pants with some fucking cool ass sneakers that go well with the fit.
Yeah, well, both of those, and then a skirt. I mean, who's going to argue that is the best attire of all time?
We don't see a lot of skirts anymore.
It's not popular.
That was
anymore.
a thing when we were kids.
It was like
that. Was
it was like this
the plaid
this
skirts.
small window, right? And it was like timeless to me. That was like the style. I was like, wow.
Another
it's gonna be
one,
hard for me to concentrate today.
Another one is a form-fitted dress. Like a dress that hugs the body. Because like my girl's, she has this hip to waist ratio that just drives me crazy. So if she wear a dress that hugs her body, it accentuates that female form. Oh my God, that kills me. It destroys me every single time.
Now, do you have a fit that you put on that she's just like, oh, babe, oh, daddy?
It's like wife beater. Every time.
I know. That's the reason why he keeps wearing them. Fucking Jessica over there is like, I don't care what they say. I love it.
You look so handsome.
When I wear a long t-shirt, no pants, and socks, let me tell you, that just gets her every single time. A suit.
Yeah.
A suit. My girl really likes it.
I think all women like that, right? I think that my girl
get
loves,
all dappered out.
Yeah, because I don't put a suit on that often, and she normally comments on that. I don't know what else she really. I'll have to ask her tonight what she.
Yeah,
women tend to like uniform, right?
Yeah, I've been, I picked up on this one time because I was working around in the house, and I mentioned this story, like when I work on stuff, like she gets turned on by that. But so
your tool belt, that's right.
Yeah, it was a tool belt, but really what it was, I was wearing jeans and I just didn't have my shirt on because I was hot as fuck, and I was like, working on the house on the ceiling and over in the corner. She came home and she just like dropped her bag off and was just staring at me, and I was like, what? And she was just like, yes, you get this. And was like telling me like I don't know. I got a big response out of that one. So I was like, okay, I remember that.
That's actually a good point. Jeans with no shirt on.
Yeah.
That is definitely a thing.
Yeah.
I've also experienced that where I'm just have no shirt on, just my jeans.
Yeah,
especially if you're doing something productive.
I'm gonna have to try that because I don't know.
Here we go.
I don't think I've pulled that look off in a long time.
If I'm doing housework with no shirt on, it's pretty much that's a done deal.
Yeah.
And I often will do that.
When you say that, I can't help but picture the Instagram
like little
photo.
flowery gloves.
No, the Instagram photo where he has the rubber gloves on, and so I picture like this.
That's
nothing.
Hey, it works.
One of my most liked photos of all time. Of all time,
What about a puppy in the other arm, and you'd have been like, break the internet.
Oh, forget it. What about half shirts? Half shirts are a big one.
When you wear a half
no,
shirt?
not for a guy.
Oh my God, did you have those?
Those are the 80s.
I'm like, what are you doing wearing half shirts, still,
bro? Remember in the 80s when guys started wearing half shirts?
the mesh.
I would talk shit, but I actually did because I would do that for football because like I would get so hot, so I'd like cut it right because I had sweat like from the pads. I would just cut it where the pads went. Yeah,
little crop top.
Yeah, and I had like a six pack.
Covers your titties.
That was like, man, that worked actually.
I'm trying to think the last time I heard. You know what I know she likes. What she tells me is because I do when I go to the gym and work out, I do put my outfit together. Like I'm not. I like that. Justin, I think, mentioned on the podcast the other day about that. I've said this before. Like something about my whole fit put together motivates me to lift more. And there's something about me lifting like that, and I'm so in my zone and focus that I know turns her on. Because she sees that, she'll tell me all the time that these hot chicks will be trying to get my attention and walking by, and I pay no attention to it because I'm so focused on my training, and I look good. I'm pumped up, I'm sure, and so that's
what a lot of I've heard women say before too is that they like men in sweats sometimes because you can see their bulge.
Yeah, you can see.
I've actually
you
heard
can see everything.
I mean, my girl said that to me before, but I've actually heard other women say that about other guys as well. That's a thing. Like you wear sweats. Yeah. And you can see the bulge, which is very...
You're circumcised.
Yeah, which is a very... I mean, what?
Yeah.
Girls? What are you guys looking at?
Girls are just as nasty, man.
I know they are.
So we tried to tell Bennett that the other day.
But they try to keep it secret.
Come on, man. That's all the guys said in the elevator? Are you kidding me? A fucking way nastier chick say some shit.
I loved it when Chloe was like,
a lot of filth.
Yeah, we're worse.
Well, that I didn't say anything to him after he said that, really, but the first thing came to mind, like when I used to teach at Orange Theory, man, I had all the cougars in there, and I would hear them.
They're like catcall.
Oh, I'd walk by.
Oh, they're terrible.
Oh, I'd walk by the treadmills.
Dude,
and
we were with you when they're catcalling in Campbell one time. I was like,
that's right, because they didn't know you were friends of mine. Yeah, they'll be doing shit like that, and I'm like, dude, they're saying way worse shit. Way worse shit than that.
Oh, bro. When I used to run gyms, because in a gym, you have a lot of members and stuff. I've been harassed at least a few times, and it was always women in the mid 30 to mid 40 age range. And when I say harassed, I don't mean like you look sexy.
No, like handsy.
I mean like grabbing and saying really, really, really filthy shit.
Like cup check.
Yeah, like really bad shit where I get blush and shy, and I'm like, whoa.
That's why I don't buy that shit with the guy thing, dude. There's fucking girls that do it too. There's guys that do it absolutely, and if you had to fucking measure by numbers, maybe there's more guys that do. Who gives a? I mean, at the end of the day, it's about the individual, right? The person who's like willing to say or do inappropriate shit like that. It's on both fucking sides.
It's just we're more threatening. That's the thing.
I've
never felt threatened.
I do get that argument. Yeah, it is.
That is the fair argument. I was actually talking to we were talking about our good friend Kyle Kingsbury the other day. I love Kyle. And the very first time, do you guys remember this?
I know exactly what you're going to say.
The very first time that we met Kyle.
He's a very comfortable man.
Very, very comfortable.
He's very comfortable with himself.
We went, so he comes in the studio. He's wearing short pink shorts, his fanny pack. He's barefoot. He comes walking in his tank top. First time we've ever met. We podcast with him. We totally hit it off. We're good friends. We head over to Pete's Coffee to go get coffee together. And I'll never forget this. And at this time, I know about him. The dude fucking deadlifts over 500 pounds.
He's an ex-pro MMA fighter.
Yeah, MMA, black belt. Yeah, I mean, the dude is a badass. For sure could whoop my ass. There's no argument around that. And, we're in line at Pete's, and he walks behind me. And when he walks behind me, he drags his hands across my low
ever
back.
So gently.
Then he leaves it there and lets it linger for a few seconds, and then he walks around. And I had this weird feeling that came across.
You get the chills.
Claimed you.
I'm not homophobic whatsoever, but for the first time in my life, I actually felt. If this guy wanted to rape me, he could.
He could break you off.
And you felt like a little threat.
I did. Yep. I never in my life. I've been around lots of gay friends, and in fact, I'm the type that will fucking flirt with them and be playful like that because I'm not homophobic. But for the first time that I have a man touch me in a felt physical and sexual
and he's
way,
just bigger, stronger,
and he
faster.
And he could take it if he wanted it, And so I was like, for the first time ever, I felt that I.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Imagine if you walk into a room.
Nervous.
Imagine if you walk into you're walking to work and you pass by a construction site and there's a bunch of big Kyle Kingsbury types,
right?
Yeah. And they're all saying shit to you, and hey, you're not thinking about the fact that they like you and they think you're hot. You're thinking about the fact that what if one of them's a bad guy?
Yeah. Right.
Like they could, because I've never felt threatened by these women who would grab my.
Of course not, because you
I'm like, look,
you could put them down.
You could try all you want. I could hold you away pretty easily.
Right.
Like, that's no threat.
That's why that was a memorable moment for me. Because, before that time, I have to be honest that I couldn't really identify.
And we couldn't help you if he wanted to.
No.
All Justin and I could do would be yell, stop.
I'm calling somebody.
Stop. We'd have to watch.
We have to watch.
It would be terrible.
We'll have to find another one of our MMA buddies to come down and help. Yeah.
So check this out. If you go to mindpumpfree.com, you can download some free guides. Some of them talk about training your arms, training your core, your legs, how to burn body fat. There's about 12 of them there. They're all free. Also, check us out on Instagram. It's a great place to visit us individually. Adam's page is Mind Pump Adam. My page is Mind Pump Sal. Justin is Mind Pump Justin.
Hi.
Thank you for listening to Mind Pump. If your goal is to build and shape your body, dramatically improve your health and energy, and maximize your overall performance, check out our discounted RGB Super Bundle at mindpumpmedia.com. The RGB Super Bundle includes MAPS Anabolic, MAPS Performance, and MAPS Aesthetic. 9 months of phased expert exercise programming designed by Sal, Adam, and Justin to systematically transform the way your body looks, feels, and performs. With detailed workout blueprints and over 200 videos, the RGB Super Bundle is like having Sal, Adam, and Justin as your own personal trainers, but at a fraction of the price. The RGB Super Bundle has a full 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can get it now plus other valuable free resources at mindpumpmedia.com. If you enjoy this show, please share the love by leaving us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes and by introducing Mind Pump to your friends and family. We thank you for your support, and until next time, this is Mind Pump.